All right, so in this video, I'm going to discuss a couple of things. One is get the strongest passport in all of Latin America, one of the strongest. And that's immediate, right? You want a passport upon landing, upon arrival. And yes, there's a country that offers that. A lot of people don't know about this. It's a rare option that exists. I'm going to discuss that in detail. And it is, yes, it is one of the most powerful passports that you can ever accomplish. And secondly, what I also want to talk about is the safest country in all of Latin America. You want that because it's offering a near free option. So that's definitely, it's a no brainer. It makes sense to grab that residency, and it is not a temporary residency, it's a permanent residency. So same trip, you arrive, you pick up the passport, move on, pick up the permanent residency. And the order is not important. What's important, what we're talking about here, is the speed. It should all happen fairly quickly, either in 24 hours or in just a few days. You should be able to accomplish these options. Yes, this is going to be prep. You got to carry your documents, but you do the prep, carry the documents, we review it, and we have specialized teams in both locations. We review the documents, the attorney checks the documents. Then you arrive in the respective country based on your itinerary. And we jointly plan and sequence this because the sequence of events, where you land, which documents are collected by which country, all of those things make a difference. And obviously, the team is there for that reason. Now, before I deep dive in this, what's really important to note here is what is the safest country in Latin America for permanent residency? And this one is important because you and your family might see this as a plan B. So if shit hits the fan, and this is a paper residency, all these options that I'm discussing are paper residencies, and that's one of the things that we specialize in is golden visas, aka paper residencies. The government in these countries calls it golden visa, premium visa, that kind of thing. And we reference that as paper residencies because essentially that's what it is. That's what most of our clients ask for. So let's focus on this topic of safety, beauty, and the richest country in all of South America. What are the options really here for paper residency? The options are Mexico, Panama, Paraguay, Uruguay. Argentina was never really a paper residency. It required half the time in the country. Now it requires even more time than before after the rule changes. So Argentina is a non-option. But the ones that I just mentioned, the 4 or 5 countries are in contention. Even Ecuador is a paper residency. But again, there are better options, there's safer options, and nicer options. So I'm not going to talk about Ecuador. There's also Costa Rica, which is a very nice option. I'm not going to talk about Costa Rica because that really never leads to any type of citizenship or passport. My firm belief is if you're investing any time or effort or energy or calling anything as plan B, you should have a path to naturalizing in that country eventually. Whether you want the citizenship now, whether you don't want it, is a different story. But if required, if you had to move to that country and actively use that as a plan B, then you want to have the ability to naturalize in that country. So let's say you have escaped or you moved from your country, you reached this new country, your plan B country, you're actively living there. The time that you're spending in that country should attribute to something. It should count towards your citizenship. So you can pick that up. If situation presents itself, then you have the option. Having the option is very important, and that plays a big role in deciding what is a good, safe, beautiful, permanent residency to collect as part of your portfolio. Now, if you compare all these countries, the number one country, the absolute best country out of all these 4 or 5 options is Uruguay. Yes,
You can apply for citizenship, and the process takes around 6 months to 1 year to get the passport. But you need to.
Oh, so that's how fast it is. 6 months. Uruguay. Yes, you have Paraguay. Yes, Panama is great, but Uruguay is the safest, is the best. It's the most beautiful country. It's a country where you and your family will have a good life. You'll enjoy your time when you are away from your main country. So the legal troubles is whatever kind of issue, you're not doing anything wrong, you've been framed, maybe your Western draconian regime is prosecuting you, whatever the case might be, you're following the law, you're keeping things legal, you have done the right thing, you know that they're wrong and you're right. That is the time when, let's say, you want to act upon a plan B option, you move to this country, and that's where you want you and your family to be happy. And Uruguay checks all those boxes. So you start off with a permanent residency. It's a paper residency, so it does not enforce any mandatory physical presence. It is a beautiful country. It is a safe country, so you're going to enjoy your time while you're there, while you're waiting for whatever issues to resolve. The third thing is when you naturalize in Uruguay, there's a clear path to naturalization. And yes, they do award citizenships. It's not like some other countries in Latin America where they say you can naturalize after 3 years or 2 years or 5 years, but you actually don't naturalize. They don't give you the citizenship that fast. Maybe you're waiting for a few years. Maybe you're waiting for 3 or 4 years. Then what's the point, right? You thought you were going to get a citizenship in 2 years. You applied, and now it's been the third year, fourth year, fifth year. You're not getting a citizenship. You're stuck. Eventually, you get frustrated. You leave, and you waste all your time. That's not what happens in Uruguay. They have a clear path. In 3 years or 5 years, based on your circumstances, you can apply for naturalization. And as my head of legal pointed it out, it usually is typically between 6 months, 12 months. You can expect something from that country. Even my Mexican attorney talked about the Mexican naturalization process. There's other Latin countries. They say they do the citizenship, but it can take forever and ever and ever. But here with Mexico, the process is so well defined and it's so well, and it works so well, especially here at the Mexico City Council, and that people would be very interested in and having that stable pathway to sort of employ.
Yeah, it's not a complicated process. Maybe it will take, let's say, 1 year. It's because once you apply for the exam and everything, and you pass, and they approve your citizenship, you will have to wait 6 months to have your actual naturalization letter.
I see. 6 months, which is not bad at all compared to some other process. There are the other country that does provide naturalization with a great degree of certainty as long as you're providing the required documents and maintaining a reasonably decent record, a good moral character. All those things are basic, necessary. Your moral character needs to be reflected in your past residency. You should be in good standing for the last 6 months with your residency. So those kind of things play a big role. The eventual passport that you would get from Uruguay is one of the best, not one of the, I would say it's the best passport in all of Latin America. It comes with all the bells and whistles. It gets you most access that you're looking for. 170 plus countries a tank. It's one of the best naturalized passports you can collect. So what is the qualifying criteria? Pretty simple, pretty basic. 1200 USD is sort of the threshold that people should show. I wanted to hear more about this. How does this work? Is it, I know the passive always existed, like rental income, dividend income, and that kind of stuff, but being able to qualify through job salary is something extreme. So if you can kind of give us some insights on this.
Yeah. It qualifies perfect. If you work for a company abroad that pays you that amount, perfect. You qualify.
In terms of you showing some income, right? The income that you're going to show is $1,200. And this is not passive income, unlike most of the other countries everyone keeps talking about. We're not talking only about retired people. Yes, yeah, if you're retired and if you have a retirement income of $1,200 a month, that works. That's fine. But let's say you are employed, you're doing a job, you're doing a business, and you earn $1,200 a month, then that qualifies, absolutely qualifies. We prepare the documentation, we present the case, and that
And
qualifies.
part of our job is before the client comes, is to check all the documents in advance. If the documents are correct, there is no reason why the residency will be rejected. So yes, 99.9% of the time, 100% of the time, it works.
Yep. Once you enter Montevideo, it takes 2 or 3 days to complete the procedure. There's a few things that you do with our team. Our team guides you end to end with the entire process, and then you obviously complete your work for permanent residency, get some interim set of cards, then you can leave Uruguay, and then we can mail you the final documentation, or you can return to Uruguay and collect your documentation, your permanent residency documentation. So that's the PR, the safest PR part of it. Now, what is the passport? As I promised, I'm going to discuss the passport as well. But before I jump into the direct passport option, if you're new to this channel or if you're an existing viewer, please check your subscription. And if you aren't yet subscribed, turn that on because it helps me get you breaking news on time to stay on top of all the things that happen. This is one of the fastest channels to report things as they happen. So if you're subscribed, I promise you, you will be notified on time. Now, let's discuss the passport option, right? The combination that you want to strike in Latin America, just like how I made videos on African passport with an African permanent residency, here in Latin America, the Uruguay will get you the most flexible golden visa at the fraction of the cost of anything else. It's going to get you the most powerful permanent residency and the potential to acquire the best Mercosur citizenship from Latin America. But for now, for right now on this trip, you're looking for an equally good passport, right? And solid passport with all the access in the interim. The passport is going to be from the country of Panama. And yes, Panama would offer you an immediate passport. I'm going to discuss how this works. So it's a special type of a temporary residency. And no, you're not really donating anything. There's no big sums of money that you're remitting to the government. You're simply opening up a bank account with the Nationalized Bank of Panama. So it's going to be a very safe investment. All you're doing is creating a fixed deposit, right? A fixed term deposit. It's some people refer to as that a CD. Depending upon which country you're coming from, they call it different things. Essentially, what it means is you put the money in the bank and create a steady source of income inside Panama. The key figure over here that does not change is the $850 a month of income that you need to generate from that investment. So whatever percent interest you're getting for that fixed deposit, you put that much money in the bank, you're creating an income of $850. That's passive income. That's what Panama wants to see. You then qualify for a temporary residency. The moment your temporary residency work is created, you can apply for your passport. And this is a travel passport. This is not a citizenship based passport, but it should work like any ordinary passport. Now, there's no guarantees. Some countries accept this without any questions. Other countries might ask you what's going on. Once you explain, once they detect that it's a legal, legitimate, valid passport, obviously you're going to be able to enter. What I always recommend is if you're traveling to Europe, then check with the embassy of that country where you're going, just to be on the safer side. The only difference, the main difference over here is that the citizenship on this travel passport is going to say your original citizenship. So if you have picked up a Vanuatu passport or an SKN passport or any of the Caribbean passports as a layering solution, it perfectly works. You can use that passport instead of your home country passport to acquire the Panama travel passport, and that way in less than 2 weeks. 2 weeks is is on the upper end. Typically in 2 or 3 days you can acquire this passport. So let's say you're done with Uruguay, you then headed to Panama. You assuming you have completed the temporary residency work ahead of time, right? So we want to collect your documents. We open up your bank account. You have standing instructions for the remittance of the money that's needed to open up the CD. All of that runs in the background. And once you physically land in Panama, right after the temporary residency is issued, you can then apply for the passport, collect the passport, and off you go. And on this trip, now what you have really accomplished is the best and the strongest permanent residency in the world. And along with that, you have accomplished one of the strongest passports in the world. This is an interim solution. This is one of the most unique plan B options that you can strike and keep in your portfolio. Let's say the moment you naturalize in Uruguay or any other country, or let's say the Argentina CBI goes live. And yes, I promise you, I will be notifying you the moment there's any movement on the Argentinian CBI program. But let's say that program goes live. You want to shift this money from this bank, right? The Panama bank. Discard the travel passport. Let that go. Take the money, give it to Argentina or invest it in Argentina. Let's say you do the Argentinian CBI, then that combination gets replaced with your main combination, with your main plan B or your future plan B. But the interim solution does not cost you much. It's a rock solid option to have in your portfolio. And as I said, at any point in time, you want to get started with this option, you always click the link, book a call. We can have a quick chat and get you started with one or both the options. And if you are not ready to travel, you don't want to visit anything, you want to have a quick, lifelong, permanent residency sitting in your couch at home right now, then check this video. Here, you can obtain in 5 days to 25 days, you can obtain 100% remote permanent residency. Catch you in this one.